Welcome everyone to the Lo-Fi Poli-Sci Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering, and that's right, Lo-Fi, as in low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? That's right, it's 4/20/2020. Where you at, Lo-Fi Nation? And it's that fast cap weekend recap. That's right, get ready, cuz it's Messy Monday. Messy Monday's weekend recap will bring you 10 fast-paced headlines from across the globe, and then a piece of humanity to send you on your way for the week. So let's get messy. The news, fresh off the press. The following 4 headlines are from Reuters' World Section. Election of Vanuatu Prime Minister may speed cyclone relief work. The last 2 weeks we've brought you updates on the Pacific Island nation being ravaged by a hurricane. Now that their new Prime Minister is appointed, the government may, hopefully, more efficiently pass important legislation to help relieve the situation. Next up, armed bandits kill 47 in northwest Nigeria's Katsina state. Police. This attack is not of the moment attributed to Boko Haram, but rather further demonstrates additional security concerns in Africa's largest economy today. In Vietnam, Vietnam protests Beijing's expansion in disputed South China Sea. Vietnam states as part of their sovereign territory, China has invaded these 2 islands. China is yet to respond, though their actions speak pretty loudly. In Kazakhstan, Kazakh activist released after being held for spreading false information. A political figure that regularly criticizes the government was arrested and held for 2 days for spreading false information, then released. Then his sister posted on Facebook that he was sorry for not fact-checking his information. Kazakhstan is ranked by Reporters Without Borders as 158 out of 180 countries and territories. I smell something fishy on this messy Monday. Next up, 3 stories from AP News International. North Korea denies that Kim sent Trump a nice note. Saturday, Trump had said he received a nice note from Kim. Sunday, North Korea says, no you didn't. North Korea calling the US president on fake? Well, moving on. Australia to make Google and Facebook pay for news content. By this summer, the 2 sites will no longer be able to take journalist news stories for free and redistribute them on their platforms. They, just like everyone else, will have to pay. Interesting, Australia. Very interesting. US, UK condemn Hong Kong arrest of democracy advocates. 14 pro-democracy advocates were recently arrested in Hong Kong for participating in illegal protest last year after Beijing's incursion into Hong Kong's autonomy. The UK and US are both vocalizing discontent. Chinese government officials stated, quote, "It is completely wrong that the UK Foreign Office spokesperson has distorted the truth by painting unauthorized assemblies as peaceful protest in a bid to whitewash, condone, and exonerate the anti-Chinese troublemakers in Hong Kong." End quote. Sheesh, China. Why don't you tell us how you really feel today? And our last 3 stories from the BBC World Section. Palgar lynching. India police arrest more than 100 suspects. This is the latest attack attributed to false news of child kidnappers circulating on WhatsApp and on other platforms in India that have led to innocent people being mistaken for kidnappers and killed. 3 people were killed this time as police were unable to stop the mob of over 100 people. So, the police eventually arrested everyone. People, everywhere, check the sources of your news. It may be messy out there, but it is only Monday. Israel. Israel heading towards record 4th election. Bad headline, BBC. It should read, in 21 days, if no prime minister is elected, then Israel heads to polls for 4th time on August 4th. I just finished telling people to check their sources. I shouldn't have to tell sources to check their headlines. And our last piece of news about humanity. NASA to launch first crew mission from US in decade. This is the first time in almost 10 years the US sends an aircraft into space from US soil. The craft and rockets provided by private company SpaceX. Well, at least they're not sending a Tesla Roadster into space this time. And yes, that's aimed at you, Musk. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today on this very messy Monday. Please write in with your questions, comments, or requests of countries for our new segments to Lo-Fi Poli-Sci at planetmail.com. That's Lo-Fi, L-O-F-I, Poly, P-O-L-I, Sci, S-C-I, at planetmail.com. Let me say thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, wash those hands, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Lo-Fi Poli-Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.